everybody. Can I ask you a serious question? Please, please, pretty please. Okay. Here it is. How the fuck is migration supposed to be a human right? Let me say that again. How the fuck is migration supposed to be a human right? What does that even mean? I mean, you have the right to go anywhere you want on Earth. Well, there are these things called borders, which, hey, I didn't have a whole lot to do with, but there are these assholes in state institutions called governments that have, for the longest time, told me that I can't go place X, Y, and Z because there are such things as borders. And I see the utility in borders. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I should be able to go wherever the fuck I want because, well, when there is free movement, there are potential associated risks. So, I could be some asshole. And if there are no limits on my movement and I can go anywhere, well, I can just go somewhere where there are people I don't like and I can, I don't know, maybe bomb them. Or maybe I could get a truck and I could plow it into a big group of them. Or maybe, just maybe, I might be such a cowardly piece of shit that I want to throw acid in people's faces. Or maybe, generally, I am a member of a religion who justifies the use of violence against people who are not a part of my religion. And then, well, however I do it, it doesn't really matter. I am going somewhere, potentially, to inflict harm on those unlike me because they don't follow the will of my religion. So, you know, I see the utility in borders, and I'm just wondering, what the fuck is the deal with the UN Migration Pact? What the hell is the right to migration even supposed to be about? What is it supposed to mean? Is it supposed to be helpful that we want to write into a legal document that anyone, whoever the fuck they are, can go wherever they want and you're an asshole if you don't agree? I mean, that's the hate crime part of it. If you're against migration or the proposed right to migration, then under that act you are technically a contemptible xenophobic shithead. And that doesn't make sense either. But just the whole idea of having a right to migrate anywhere you want to go, I mean, that's just bullshit, right? I'm from a relatively tame, domesticated country. Yeah, Ireland, we were bombing some people there for a while in the not too distant past, but following 800 years of occupation of our country and atrocities committed against us, maybe a few bombings do not completely poison the well, and I am not responsible for that, obviously. But at the same time, we're a tiny country. We have a very peaceful history, and we have largely very peaceful people. So, if I'm not allowed to go wherever the fuck I want, which I'm not, then how is it the people from third world war zones can have legislation created for them where it's like, okay, you don't just have the right to go wherever you want, but you have the right to be pampered like a little bitch when you get there and get free health care paid for by the taxpayers and benefits paid for by the taxpayers for no reason whatsoever. Okay, fair enough, I understand refugees, like genuine refugees, like the ones from Syria. Oh, wait. the Syrian war is largely over now, and Syria is largely safe, so the whole Syrian refugee angle doesn't even work anymore. So come on, guys, let's get with the fucking times. Really, like, valid refugees. Let's make a list of countries, or sections of countries, that are so messed up that individuals from those specified zones are allowed to be classified as refugees. But what we have is the obfuscation of terms, yet again. This is one of the main tactics of the culture creators. They manipulate language and confuse terms like refugee and asylum seeker, so when the issues are being discussed, nobody has any fucking clue what's even being talked about. Seriously, a refugee is someone who is fleeing great threat to them and needs a safe space, okay? And that's fair enough. But asylum seeker used to just mean someone that's looking for somewhere else to live. Someone looking for somewhere that people will allow them to rest their weary heads at night and maybe take part in what's going on over there and function as a member of the society they are hoping to join. Surely they would be. But now the term asylum seeker is being conflated with the term refugee, and, well, they're being treated like the same thing, when that is absolute bullshit and they are not the same thing. Okay? Just because some people have a fucked up time in their home countries doesn't mean that every country in the West needs to have open borders and pay huge sums of money to care for whoever the fuck wants to come here. No. That doesn't make sense, and these issues need to be discussed. But of course, we have a media blackout in not just Ireland, but across Europe and most of the so-called civilized world, because we have such sold out, corrupt media institutions who do not get into the deep politics of these issues, so that the populations of the countries they operate within can be duly educated on the issues that stand before them that affect their lives greatly. Not just their lives, but the lives of future generations. The fate of the rest of the world, as far as the historical process goes, is in play here, okay? And we need to discuss these issues before we fuck things up too badly that we can't fix them and nobody understands what's happening and we find ourselves in a big confused mess. Because that's what's gonna happen if we continue as is without consideration. We are being foolish. We need our media institutions to educate us, and of course we need to educate ourselves, but we need to be accommodated with open forums and honest media platforms where tough issues can be discussed, and issues that are designed in such ways that make it culturally faux pas to disagree with them. These issues need to be analyzed and discussed on the largest scales imaginable. We cannot hide from these issues anymore. They are a threat to the integrity of our nations. They are a threat to the integrity of our identities, of our cultures, of our economic worth. They are a threat to us on every level. So let's cut the shit, people, and start getting fucking real and talking about issues honestly, openly, without fear of repercussion about how we talk about them, okay? We are adults. It's time to start acting like it.